So I was thinking all day. It's been raining here in Southern California, pretty heavy rain actually. I was thinking all day, how am I going to start the show with the match we just had, and with Orange County still in control of their playoff destiny, and then we get news breaking right before we go live with this that the club announces Coach Danny Stone returning for 2026. So we're going to talk about that. Do we agree with that? Do we disagree with that? Our thoughts, your thoughts, if you want to jump into the chat to share with that. We've got that. We got a match to talk about. We've got potential playoffs still to talk about. So let's get right into this. Welcome to the Show of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only show dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Samora. I'm here to take you through this journey as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. We've got a couple friends helping out for this episode. We've got Brad. Brad, are you excited about the return of Coach Danny Stone in 2026?
Can't complain. Like, my first thought was, did he deserve it? My second thought was, yeah. And my third thought was, hopefully, he can build upon what he has because the team's not really at fault, or he's not at fault for the underperformance of the team this year directly.
All right. And we also got DK helping us out in this episode. I'm going to ask you that same question, DK. How are you feeling about Coach Danny Stone returning in 2026?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely great. I was actually just posing the question to myself the other day of what Orange County was going to do with the coaching position next season based off of the performances. I know it's been a pretty inconsistent position in the team for the past few years. So in my head, I wanted to see Stone continue so that he can build off of having a full season. And in reality, I would love to see him get a completely full next season, no matter what the results are. I would just like to see him build on this team, build relationships with the fans, build his system in the club, and see where he can take us.
And obviously, there's always going to be people that the first blame for underperforming season or for struggles is going to be on the head coach. I know it's hard. The recency bias is hitting us all right now. Is that Orange County has looked like poo the last month and a half, 2 months, right? I mean, you look at it, when was the last time we won a match? It's been a while. And even in a match where we take the lead not once, not twice, I think it was 3 times we went ahead on against New Mexico, if I recall
Just
correctly
twice.
in that match.
Just
Maybe
twice.
I'm incorrect. Who knows? Twice. Okay. It's one of those things where it's just a struggle right now. And maybe we're all looking at that, but you got to look at the success of this team throughout the whole season and what Coach Stone has had to deal with. And I think Coach Stone hasn't had the proper roster in place as far as healthy roster. And it's been difficult. And I like what we see out of him when the team is full strength. So I think it's nice to see him coming back. And we were talking a bit about this before we went live, that at least when this show started back in 2018, the consistency, it was not always there. Maybe the coaching staff, there was consistency, but I know that also had to do with GM Oliver Weiss and Braden Cloutier's relationship on and off the pitch. So I think that's why Braden Cloutier lasted as long as he did. But you look, since Coach Cloutier, it's been a rotation of coaches. And even with struggles this year, it's nice to see, okay, we're not giving up on it yet. Let's give it another year. Let's see what happens. Is there anything, Brad? I know we all said we're sort of happy about this, but is there anything that worries you about the return? I mean, do you think there is a case that could be made from yourself, from DK, or from any fans as to why he shouldn't be returning in 2026.
Look, we fired. My biggest concern with the team over the past couple of years is we fired coaches for struggle periods and haven't really rewarded them for, you know, the good times other than, hey, he's going to be back for next year. That was the case that happened when we won the championship in 2021 with Cloutier getting let go mid-season. And then by the end of the next season, we were moving on from that coach. Danny Stone came in, took over for Morten Carlson after Mort went to Denmark, and honestly has not lost the job. He earned the job for 2025. This season hasn't gone according to plan, but it's still not over. For as much as the team's been underperforming since August, again, Larry said last week we still haven't won a game since like mid-August. We haven't we've not lost a lot of games because of the coaching decisions, more due to just personnel availability and a couple of lapses on the field. That's something that can be coached. And honestly, you can't tell me that there aren't 29 other coaches better than Danny Stone in the league. So he's definitely worthy of a spot in this league.
And I will say this: I think the players like Danny Stone, they respect Coach Stone, so I think that's a big thing that you want to see. So you think about it and you look at it. This is the start. This is the first domino. Now we're all going to be looking. Now I get it. All our wheels are turning. All the fans that may be listening to the show are also now thinking ahead. Okay, we know Coach Stone is back. Who is he bringing back from this roster? Who did he like? Who do you think fits in with his system? So now we're all going to be thinking about that. But we can't get there yet. Why can't we get there? Because we are still in the playoff hunt, even after what probably can be considered a disappointing result on the road in New Mexico. Although, if we were not sitting where we're sitting, maybe we're happy with a draw on the road against a very tough New Mexico team. But we said it last week and we're saying it still. Orange County needs to get some wins here if they really want to lock down a playoff spot. A 3-3 draw on the road in Albuquerque. And it still puts Orange County in a place where they're still, I can't believe I'm saying this. I've been saying this for a month plus. They are still in control of their destiny. They don't need any help to make the playoffs. All they need to do is do what they need to do, which at this point now is basically win matches. They sit 2 points behind the 8th place Colorado Springs Switchbacks, but they have a match in hand. So that means obviously if they win, they leapfrog, they go into 8th place, and then it just matters the balance there. And they technically still can move, I think, as high as 6th, maybe even 5th. I got to look at the standings for that based on what's remaining. I think technically, mathematically, 5th is still an option. I guess you can say 4th is still an option mathematically at this point, but that would take a lot of help from a bunch of other teams that are just as desperate for wins at this point of the season. I said a lot. Let's talk about the match this past weekend against New Mexico United. Orange County goes up early, concedes. I think then they go down, tie, equal. I don't know how it all worked out. I can't remember the order of everything, but Orange County scored 3 goals. Obviously, with a decent defense, that's a victory on the road in New Mexico, in Albuquerque. Unfortunately, our defense didn't hold their own against New Mexico. DK, I'm going to go to you since we haven't heard from you in a while. Overall thoughts on this match against New Mexico?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was a bad match by any means. I think if you go to the lab in New Mexico and you score 3 goals, and even if you walk away from a draw, that's usually something you walk away with your head held high on. I think we all just have been desperate for a win. And being up twice in the game and it, being such a crazy first half, we definitely, I think at one point expected a win. So it's frustrating to go and to get that draw and to only walk away with 1 point when the victory was right there in our grasp. But I don't think we played bad. I think we're starting to see some chemistry get back. or maybe not chemistry is the right word, but just some flow with the squad. I love seeing that Partita was back, even if he just came on as a late sub. I think missing him and Partita, or him and Brewitt, has been like crippling for our defense. They both got injured about 10 games ago, and since they've been injured, we haven't won a game. So seeing them back in the squad is going to be a sight for sore eyes for sure. Let's hopefully they can recover soon. But love to see what Traeger was able to do. I mean, we're about to see a fantastic goal from him. We got a fantastic goal from Kelly. There was great moments. Kind of to go back on the Danny Stone aspect is one thing that I would love to see from him and this squad next season is just be better on the road, because that has been awful for us all season long. We have had maybe 2 wins on the road in the whole season. So that's something I'd like to see more of next season. But overall,
Yeah,
it was a good game.
that would be nice. I'm going to ask you this question, Brandon. First, I'm going to go back on a little bit of a history lesson for the last couple of months here for Orange County. Going back to August 9th against Pittsburgh. Orange County has played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 matches. Let's not even count New Mexico. So 10 matches prior to the New Mexico match. On all but, I believe, 2 matches, they scored 1 or less goals. They had that goal scoring crazy match at home against Birmingham on the 30th of August, a 4-4 draw. And then they had a 2-2 draw against Charleston back in September. So apparently if we score, going off of this, if we score more than 1 goal in a match, we're going to end up in some crazy goal scoring draw. But would you say that this is a better representation of what you expect out of Orange County on the road against a tough New Mexico team? And would you say this is probably one of their better matches that you've seen from them recently, Brad?
Yes, I believe this is one of the better matches that we've seen from the team. But the same consistencies remain, or inconsistencies for that matter. I'll do my counting shtick again because I had so much fun doing it last week. If you told me we were going to get a point on the road against a near top of the table New Mexico earlier in the season, it was going to be an entertaining game. I would have been like, yeah. However, in this case, 1 point probably wasn't enough for the situation, given that we were up a goal twice during this game, and a 2-minute lapse really dug us a hole into this game. Because let's be honest, from New Mexico scoring a goal twice with some pretty suspicious um, movement out of the back line, giving the ball away, definitely led to a drop of 3 points. And my 3 is 3 goals scored by Orange County, and big credit to Mr. Stephen Kelly on that third one. Like we have ragged on him a lot during the season, but like that's a worldie and should be up for goal of the season. Um, so there is still, obviously, we still are making the dumbest bird brain mistakes out of the back line, but it could have been worse. I'll take a point on the road. We need to win some of these last matches, though.
We definitely do, and we'll get ahead to those last matches that we're going to talk about. But we do got to talk about the player of the match and actually player of the week for the USL Championship on this match. It's rare. I'm maybe it's not. I'm just in my head. It's rare that you're going to have a player of the week that isn't from a winning side in a match. Typically, you give a little bit more to the winning side, make one of those awards on that. But you had Chris Hagart go out there. I believe he contributed to all 3 goals, 3 assists in this match. He didn't score any of them, but he definitely made some nice passes. And I think this is the Chris Hagart we were hoping to see a majority of this year, is where he's contributing. I'm not saying he hasn't. He's done really well, but this is, I think, the type of play we want to see from someone like Chris Hagart, and he's doing it at the right time. Unfortunately, it doesn't result in a win because we could not lock our goal and not let New Mexico score. But what do y'all think, DK? What do you think of the performance from Chris Hagart out there in Albuquerque?
Yeah, I mean, I think Chris Hagart was fantastic. I think he's been one of the bright spots of the team and consistently doing so throughout the season. But seeing him, in this game, and hopefully it continues. But we've seen glimpses of it in the past few weeks. But he's really coming into the comfortability of that number 10 role of just really creating chances, but also being able to take shots himself. He is that attacking midfielder that we've been lacking, not only this season, but a little bit of last season until he got in. So I love what he does, attacking wise. And I think without him in this game, it would have definitely been a loss. So him and Traeger were definitely just wrecking the New Mexico defense. So
I love that you bring out Traeger because I wanted to ask Brad, this is like the biggest, like, what if? I don't know if anyone watches, I think there's like a Marvel series on Disney Plus, like What If or something like that, right? The biggest what if here for Orange County is if you have a healthy Tristan Traeger for a majority of this year, we see him go on an early brace in this match, was really, had some opportunities potentially for a hat trick in this. And this is looking like what maybe going into 2025, Coach Danny Stone is hoping is to have a 1-2 punch up top of Ethan Zubak and Tristan Traeger. And unfortunately, Traeger has been dealing with some injuries all season, so we haven't seen it. But let me ask you, Brad, what if? I mean, what do you think of Traeger's performance, and what do you think? How do you think that changes Orange County in 2025 if we get to see this at least 75% of the time this season?
I'll go one further for you. Not only what if Tristan Traeger, but what if Liam McKinnon? At that point, do you have too many mouths to feed? I think Zubak's been pretty good this season. He's at double-digit goals again. He's not relying on a last-ditch effort to get there like he did last season. He's been consistent, and he's provided goals in big games when he needed to. Uh, Traeger came in, scored a wonderful brace this week. Definitely playing with a lot of confidence. But again, what if you had Liam McKinnon in there as well? Is it just too many mouths to feed? Are we riding the hot hand at any given time? And are we complaining about lack of production across the team there? Offense was never our issue this season. We scored goals in most of our games. In the games that we got shut out, it was either because we were really unlucky or the team just played really out of their mind on goalkeeper. So I think the what if is more what if our defense was healthy?
I can agree with that, Brad. I think Liam McKinnon. We never really got to see a healthy Liam McKinnon. I think he was just making his way back, and then he gets suffers what pretty much ends up being a season-ending injury. I know there was always hope that if Orange County can make a playoff run, you might see some Liam McKinnon, but that's a difficult thing to ask of anyone, especially someone that has just made their first season in the USL Championship. It's a jump up from League One. I think as much as Zubak and you're going to have people that are a little negative on what you see out of Zubak, and you're going to have people that are appreciative like you, Brad. And I think the hard thing for him that he's had this season is he's pretty much been the lone person up there. I think if you have a Liam McKinnon and a Tristan Traeger that's healthy, there's your front line right there of Liam McKinnon on the left, Zubak in the center, and Traeger probably on the right, or as that false nine up top, sort of backing up or helping Ethan Zubak in there. I think Zubak is great at what he does. He's a hold up center forward, a hold up striker. But when you don't have anyone, you're going to hold the ball up. You're looking for someone to help you out there. And he hasn't really had that help most of the season. You could see it numerous times. He's getting his head on the ball. He's getting his chest to the ball. He's trying to win it in the air, and there's no one helping him. And as much as I've loved someone like a Cameron Dunbar in the past, he has struggled. And we've seen numerous times this season, for whatever reason, he's booting the ball 50 yards over the crossbar or, 20 yards wide on what should be a pretty simple goal, which we saw Tristan Traeger being able to handle this past game. So a bunch of what ifs. We're going to talk about that when we get to our season recap. Any last things on the New Mexico, the 3-3 draw in Albuquerque before we move on and look ahead to a very important week for Orange County that starts tomorrow as of this recording, Wednesday, Yes. Sorry, I had it up here right now and I lost it. What is the game? It's Wednesday, right?
Wednesday.
And it's at home.
Yeah,
at home against San Antonio. 3 home games, which is beautiful to have to finish up your season, but they're tough. Any last thoughts on New Mexico, though, DK?
Yeah, I mean, I think these things will also carry over into what we need to see in these next 3 games. But having more possession in this game would have done us wonders. Obviously, fixing those backline mishaps, right, and letting Greg Hurst or somebody like Greg Hurst, because the teams that we're going to be facing have players like him as well, just be free in the middle. Those kill us, and he killed us in a 2-minute span. So it's tough, and to hold on to a 3-2 lead going into the second half, you need to just hold on to possession, not give them set pieces, and do what you can to maintain control of the game instead of giving them opportunities. Something I would like to see continue, and that I like to see in this game that we've brushed upon already, is a Traeger and Zubac front line. Because as you said, I think there's been too much on Zubac's shoulders this season. For the type of player he is, he needs support. He needs some good wingers to be able to help him out. And we don't really have those good wingers right now. We have a decently strong midfield, and we have another striker. So instead, let's just go and have 2 strikers up top, 2 different strikers in Traeger and Zubac, and let them do what they did against New Mexico. And yeah, hopefully we can control the game a little bit more, and our defense can tighten up. I think our defense learns new things every game, and I think we're all just praying that Brewitt is going to be back
sooner rather than later, right?
Yeah.
So let's do this. We're gonna now discuss what basically becomes the week of Orange County's season. Right, this is literally the make or break week for Orange County. You need some good results for the team, and I love it. Producer Andy's on top of things, bringing up the standings for us right now because I wanted to go over the standings really quick before we talk about the 2 matches upcoming this week. Is right now you could see Orange County sitting in 9th with a match in hand on Colorado Springs, Lexington, and Phoenix. They're even on matches with San Antonio. Those 2 play on Wednesday, so thus that you have that. So there's sort of a head-to-head advantage there. I mean, well, not advantage, but Orange County's in control of a lot of stuff here. They own tiebreakers currently against Colorado Springs and Phoenix. They do not own the tiebreaker against Lexington, and the tiebreaker against San Antonio will be dependent on the result, right? I think San Antonio won 3-1. They were victorious 3-1 in San Antonio. So obviously, if Orange County can win 4-1 or 3-0 at home, that gives them the tiebreaker there. So there's a lot that can happen on these standings. Literally, like I said, though, Orange County just needs to win, and they guarantee a spot in the playoffs, regardless of what Colorado Springs does. And again, with the help of what happens elsewise, they can move as far as 4th, but there would be a lot of really good things happening for Orange County. And maybe, who knows if that's even possible. I don't know what the opponent schedules are and all that stuff, how that goes. Orange County has a tough 2 matches this week. We're not even going to look at the very last match. We will know Orange County's sort of fate probably by the time you hear from us next week on this show. They have a match at home tomorrow, Wednesday, the 15th, against San Antonio. And then they have a match over the weekend at home against Louisville City. Neither one is easy. Louisville City, I think, is dominating in the East. Now, the lucky thing for Orange County is I think Louisville City has sort of locked down the 1 seed in the East. If I'm not correct, let me know, please. But there's not as much for them to play for, especially come this Saturday. But you can assume they're probably still going to try their hardest and try and get the victory there and want to, keep their momentum going. How confident, before we even get to the preview of these matches, I'm just going to ask you this question. I'll go to you, Brad, first, since we haven't heard from you in a while. How confident are you in Orange County's chances to have a successful week and keep their playoff hopes alive so we can talk about it next week? Let's go scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you're absolutely sure it's going to work. 1 is you're already throwing in the towel.
I'm giving it a 3. I'm not expecting 3 points at home against Louisville City. A draw I would consider a victory. And I don't know. I don't think we can just draw it out till the end of the year and really expect to make it in with our remaining 3 games. That would be very, very stressful watching the result of other teams. Big shout out to Charleston, who absolutely dismantled Colorado Springs yesterday on Monday, 5-0 at home. And that's the only reason we're still in this, because the Colorado Springs is another 3 points ahead of us. I don't know if it's catchable at all. So with that said, and I say a lot tonight, I'm not very confident that Orange County is going to be in a spot where next week we're talking about postseason. That's why I gave it a 3.
So you're already planning, Brad, for next week's show. We're doing our it's been a great year, and we know this last match is nothing. DK, okay, Brad put it at a 3 of his
Can I
confidence
can,
level.
can I can I can I elaborate just based on what you said there?
Go ahead, Brad.
I'm
Elaborate.
only at a 3. I don't think we're going to get 3 or even 6 points over this week. But I'm also not confident that Charleston that Colorado is going to also get 3 points this upcoming weekend. So the only reason we're going to be talking about playoffs is because everybody else is around us is also just horrible.
So, I mean, it's a good thought process here, right? So let's talk about it. Colorado Springs, just so we all are aware, they have a match against Tulsa. That's one of their final matches of the season here, and then their other match is against Las Vegas, which obviously it's almost like penciled in a 3 points that they'll get there. But the Tulsa match is going to be difficult because Tulsa, the final match of the season, they probably are going to want to be playing for some of that momentum heading into the playoffs. DK, are you more confident than Brad, or was Brad on point?
I think I forgot the full initial question, but if we're doing the question of if we'll eventually get into the playoffs, I'm a little bit more confident than Brad. I'll put it at maybe a 5.
So I want to give you an equal. I don't want to take away from Brad. This equal question is, how confident are you on this week? So that next episode, a week from today, we're what are we talking about? Are we talking about we're still in it for the playoffs? We've locked down a spot. We're out of it. How confident are you on just this week? We're not even looking at the final match against Indy.
Just this week, we are. I'm around the same point as Brad. Then I think we're still talking about whether we're going to get into the playoffs or not. I think it's still in our hands. I don't think we're. It's hard to say we're getting anything out of Louisville, right? They are not just the top of the East. They are not just the best in the East. They're the best in the league. They locked down the Players' Shield. They did phenomenal. They have lost one game this entire season. And it's against Western Conference teams too. So I think our only saving grace right now is that we have 3 games at home and we are tough to beat at home.
So
we are tough to beat at home. We play well at home, but we also, to even keep us in hopes, is we absolutely need to win tomorrow. Because if we don't, then that is pretty much we're out.
If we lose against San Antonio, then we have no control of our future. It's all relying on what Colorado Springs does against, again, Las Vegas. Not, they're the only one on the Western Conference that has that E next to their name, which I'm going to assume means eliminated. And then Tulsa. So here's the way to look at it, though. Is Las Vegas going to be at this point, the players on that roster, are they playing for a job next season? Whoever goes on the lineup, and thus playing harder than maybe Las Vegas has looked all season? Who knows? And again, we talked about Colorado Springs has Tulsa. Yes, tomorrow's match, the match, if you're listening live, if you're not, it's probably today. Who knows? But, or it could have already happened and you already know what's happening and you can tell us what's happening with it. The match against San Antonio is going to be crucial. They need 3 points against San Antonio. Again, you get those 3 points, you're leapfrogging Colorado Springs heading into the weekend, and you're, I believe, even or a point behind. My eyes are not great with Lexington, but obviously Lexington has the tiebreaker, so that doesn't really matter as much there. I'm sorry. I have more positivity than the two of you. I think it's backs against the wall. You just gotta do it. And I have faith that Coach Stone and the players are getting this going. I think we've figured out ways to score goals. Now we got to figure out ways to stop the goals. And I'm hoping there's a game plan there. Now, anyone that listens to the show knows usually my stuff is just all off of pure hope and desire, and there's usually no statistics behind it. There's no, tactical analysis. There's no things that I've seen that I'm like, this is happening here. But someone on the show's got to believe, and I'm going to be that believer for everyone else that's part of Team Believe, because DK and Brad seem like they're part of Team Season's Over. Let's crack a beer for
That's
the
not
last
what we
few home
said.
matches. Hey,
That's not.
Brad said
you
he's
said
got
this week. You said this
yes,
week.
but I'm saying, how confident are you in this week that next show we're still talking about playoff hopes?
That's a different question, and that's a different thing than saying that we are saying the season's over. Also, like I think we have a better shot at beating Indy than we do at beating Louisville. So I think the only way that we're talking next week, as far as like we're in the playoffs, is if we win both San Antonio and Louisville, and Colorado loses this weekend, right? That's the only way we're talking about we're clinched in, basically.
Well, yeah, if we win both matches and Colorado loses, then we are, I believe, a clinch.
Right.
We've clinched it, right?
The thing is but if that doesn't happen exactly like that, right? If we win and we draw, or we win and we lose, then by Tuesday we're still talking about how we still need a victory against Indy to win. That's the reason mine's at like a 3. But
there's still some confidence there. If you give it a 3, you're less than 50-50 on the confidence.
I know. This week.
I know.
And I'm saying my confidence of locking it in this week is very low.
I'm not trying to say lock it in this week. And maybe I just
misunderstood the question.
I'm glad I at least have one person that has some faith in this team. And that's in the chats. That's Josh. Saying we're getting 9 points in these final 3 matches. Thus, we're clinching this. We've got it. We've got it under control. Josh, I love the confidence there. And I'm hoping that you and I are both correct, that we're going to pull this out. And we've got some watch parties coming up here for the playoffs. Because obviously, if we make it up to like the 5th, the 6th seed, then there's chances for home matches. If we come in as an 8th seed, then we know there's no chance for a home match, unless, I guess, we'd have to do the math. I mean, there would probably
the Western
be
Conference is crazy.
I was going to say there probably is a mathematical chance if we come in as the 8th seed and make it to the final against a lower seed from the East, we would have a home match and 9:00 kickoff for a USL Championship final, which would be freaking crazy. I still can't believe that that's the case. Brad, you have something you want to jump in and say?
Yeah, I'm happy that Josh is super confident that we're going to clinch something, because the only thing I think I'm going to be clinching this weekend is a certain sphincter muscle watching our team play. Wonderful timing.
Wonderful timing. Producer Andy, ring it at the doorbell. Producer, what's up? I love that we get the doorbell for a whoa.
Whoa. Okay. Easy.
Bleep out some stuff.
That was PG. That was PG. There was nothing more than PG there.
We just talk about it being a medical thing we're talking about there.
Exactly. Who knows? You just hit a body part. You're good.
All right. Let's talk about this. Okay. So I don't think we're going to really dissect the teams unless you all really want to get into dissecting San Antonio and Lou City. What I instead would maybe want to do is just figure out what you all think as far as which match do you think we have the better chance of getting the 3 points on. And I pose that question. I know it sort of seems like an obvious answer of San Antonio because they're not as good as Lou City, but we all know Lou City has clinched they've clinched the Supporter Shield. They've clinched first place in the East. It's a good opportunity with 2 matches left for them. This is the second to last match for them to really sort of rest some of the key players to bring them back that last match of the season to get them some run heading into the playoffs. So it maybe is not as easy of a question to answer there. So really quick, DK, thoughts?
I like that you're trying to spin it to not be an easy question, but yeah, I think San Antonio is our hope of getting 3 points this week. I think there were, when we played them in San Antonio, I think there was potential. Hopefully this time we'll have more of our starters there than we did in San Antonio. We had a lot of people out in that game. So hopefully we can control the match at home. And I think we can potentially get the 3 points, even with Louisville sitting people out, if that's what they do, I still think it's going to be a tough game to win, right? I think
You're
if
not-
we walk out of that, with a draw, awesome.
You're not
So
sitting people out with
Right. Like, I don't think they are either. So they're not
right.
going to play
So
their whole reserve team against us. Why would they?
I'm not
Why would they
saying
do that?
I'm not saying they're gonna totally do a 11-man swap, but I could really realistically picture them rotating the side, getting some of their key contributors some rest in this match. I'm not even worried about the result, right? So you might even for this match, because it's a road match in Orange County, you could see Lou City maybe even leaving some of their key players back at home to rest, to prep for the playoffs, and then that final home match of the season, give them their run so that they're back into the form. Don't act like this is a crazy thought that I have here. This is something I could see of.
I just don't think that even their quote unquote reserve players, I think, are still solid, good players, right? They've lost one game this season. They haven't been playing their starters, their main 11 starting every single game, right? They've been doing fantastic in other competitions as well. So I think that even if we do play some of their reserve players, it's still going to be a tough game to win, right? They are a complete team, and you can see that by what they've done in the league throughout the entire year. They're going to be a hard team to beat regardless. So that's why I say, I was like, I think regardless if we're doing reserve players or not, like if we're playing them or not, it's going to be tough to get more than a draw out of that.
Let me just say this. I can't believe I am going to say this right now, but I miss Larry right now. I need Larry here helping me out because I think he would be on my side. He'd have my back a little bit. Brad, jump on here.
It doesn't look like you're muted, but I can't hear you.
Am I really not muted?
There you go.
You are
now
not. There you go.
Anyways, I want to play devil's advocate here. I want to face Louisville City starters for two reasons. One, I think we play down to our opponent. So if we're expecting a reserve team that might be playing worse than Orange County, we're going to play to that level. And two, if we are going to if we are going to play in the postseason and we are going to make a run, we're going to have to play against some good teams. And Louisville is the definition of the best team in the league right now. And they're not cakewalking the Eastern Conference. They have won against literally everybody they have faced. They look good doing so. They have the deepest team. They are the best coached. I want to face against that team because if we're going to make the conference, if we're going to make the playoffs, if we're going to make the conference finals, if we're going to make the final, it's going to run through Louisville. And we need to be ready to play against the best team in the league. So we should play against the best team in the league.
All right. I get what y'all are saying. Again, I am a strong believer, and I feel this is sort of just a gut feeling for me. This is the match that Louisville is going to look at resting some players, wanting to make sure they're not getting injured in this. So there's gonna be that slight foot off the gas. I could be totally wrong. Again, there's no analytics behind it. I don't know anything about Louisville and how they are preparing for the playoffs. I haven't done any calls. I haven't made any calls to the coaching staff out there to find out what the thoughts are. It's just a gut feeling for me. Is there's absolutely no reason for Lou City to come to Orange County and potentially derail their championship aspirations by picking up some knocks to some key players. I think this is the ultimate match that you look at, leaving some players home, rotating the side, and looking ahead to the playoffs. I could be wrong. DK, San Antonio, Lou City. How many points is Orange County getting? What do you think?
3. We're getting 3 points this week.
So basically, I believe that would be, unless you're thinking we're losing to San Antonio and beating Lou City, I think it's the opposite. Brad, how many points are we getting this week?
I'll set the over under at 2. It's either we win 1, we lose both, or draw 1, or we draw both.
So all of the options.
No, we're not winning both.
Except for winning both. Yeah.
I think it's either realistic we're drawing 1 or we're winning 1. If That's why I say 2 points, and I don't think 2 points is good enough. Although it would put us literally, I believe, in 8th based on the tiebreaker. If
I would
Colorado
hope for
Springs
four. I
doesn't
would
win.
hope for 4 points. That would be great. Because I'm with Brad. I want to go against Louisville's best, right? And if we can go against their best and draw them, and then make a huge run in the playoffs and win in the finals, that's the dream scenario, right?
You guys can dream all you want, but I can guarantee. And here we go. We'll do this. I don't know if y'all dress up for Halloween, DK and Brad, but let's do this. I'm going to tell you right now. I guarantee you that there's going to be some rotation, and Louisville's going to be resting some players this week, or this Saturday. And if I'm wrong, you all can pick my Halloween costume. And if I'm right, I get to pick both of yours Halloween costume. You want to go for it?
I have a wife who is already planning myself and our lovely dog Wendy to
I'm not.
match.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can't
not
Then
dressing
you
up
just
on
wear
Halloween.
your costume.
So.
You wear your costume
I-
on the show.
I
You
will
wear whatever
I will do
costume I
that.
pick for you on the show.
Yeah,
Sure.
I could wear a costume on the show. Sure.
All right. So there we go. There. You heard it here, folks. Producer, bring up Josh's recent comment here, because I am on Team Josh right here. I think Orange County is picking up 6 points this week. Thus, next, and I'm saying this, I'm going to call it out here now too, is Colorado Springs is going to lose against Las Vegas. If what I said happens, those two things, DK, what does that mean for us as Orange County fans?
Then we're clinched.
And we're happy.
Then we're happy. Yeah. So wait, I have a question though. So we made a bet pseudo on this podcast right now. What's the bet? Are you betting that we're getting 6 points? And then if not,
no, the
then,
bet is,
then how many players are resting, right? So like we got to make some distinctions.
I'm the judge.
Here,
I'm the judge. I'm the judge. Next week I get to be the judge and tell you what happened.
Bad.
If we're making a bet here, I'm just saying there needs to be like at least by your standard
players.
of how 5 to 6
here we go.
players.
You ready? Here's what I'll say. There's at least one player that gets key minutes that isn't injured that's left behind, and there's at least a rotation of 3 key players.
I'm not making that bet. I'm not making the bet to make you have me dress up as something for only like 1 to 3 players.
Resting a team requires you resting a team. If you're resting,
I didn't say they'd rest the whole team. I said they would rotate, and I said they would probably leave 1 to 2 or 3 players back home.
That's why I'm making clarifications to this bet and what I'm willing to bet or not.
Let me just say, let's put it.
Brad can bet with you, but I'm out.
Put it in. No, really quick, Brad. Put it in writing. DK and Brad are backing away from this bet. We're going to move on from this. I have all the confidence that I would have wanted.
Instead of letting me like set reasonable rules here.
Okay, Producer Andy, you're the judge here. Tell us what's going on.
I don't want to get into your guys' monkey business. What I wanted to come on really quick, like, what do you think the odds are that with USL's collaboration with AEW, we get like a Jerry Lawler, like Tom Brewitt comes back to the field, like, by God, is that Tom Brewitt in the tunnel? Like, I mean, what are the odds that happens?
That would be pretty great, actually. That'd be hype.
Anyways, moving back to betting, Ray, I will set this: if 5 players or more play a half or less, so I'm talking 45 minutes, sub at halftime, I'll allow it. 5 players that are on their most recent 2 starting 11s. So I'll give you maybe 12, 13 players there if they sub some people out in between weeks. And they rest 5 of those players.
So you're saying 45 minutes or more? They play 45 minutes or more?
If they play 45 minutes or more, Ray loses.
I'm putting the number at 4 players, because you're not going to rotate that much. You're not going to rotate that much.
4.
Let's do 4, Brad. Let's do it.
That's more than a third of the team resting. More than a third of the regular starters.
All right. Well, let's do it. I'm open to that bet. That'll be fun. DK's scared of this bet, so he's not going to partake. Yep. But
I don't want you to choose my costume. You're right. So
I wouldn't be that bad, DK. I would not hurt you that bad. I
know. Ray wouldn't make me get a Raiders jersey.
It's mainly that I don't want to have to go out and buy a costume just for our show. So
I would make it something that's not difficult for you. I promise. Okay. I want to. I guess I wasn't even aware of this. So producer Andy brought up there's a collaboration, I guess, with what AEW. That's some.
Yeah,
Brad's like a
Orange County
wrestling
has
person,
some
so
merch and stuff out. Yeah,
oh, it's
they have a
Orange County,
partnership
not
with.
USL, but Orange County has a collab of it.
Well, there's a few teams that have the partnership, so it is.
El Paso,
Yeah.
All right, Brad,
County, and Pittsburgh.
AEW or WWE?
WWE, not even a question. I'm sorry, I'm not as familiar with AEW's product, but I grew up with WWE, and I think they've turned a corner in recent months after finally ridding themselves of the big guy up top.
All right, and then DK, who's the ultimate heel for Orange County on their roster when it comes to like a wrestling heel? Who would you put in that role?
A wrestling heel. That's like the villain, right?
Yeah,
That's the bad guy.
Yeah, that's the bad guy on our roster.
Yeah.
Who's our heel or like
Yeah.
against other players?
No,
heel? Like,
who's the heel? Like, so when he's out in the pitch, he's the one that all the other fans are booing and throwing like their
I
old
think that
food
is
at and stuff like
right?
that.
Yeah. Okay, I was just making sure, like qualification. I mean, it's got to be right now our current squad. It's got to be Partita. I mean, Partita's the one who's for his entire time being here has been super aggressive and has always been in the mix of things. I don't think he has been as much this season. I think he's toned down his fouling and yellow cards a lot this season. If Kyle Scott was still here, I would say it'd be Kyle Scott.
I was gonna say Kyle Scott here. That was, I think all of us would have said his name like within
definitely.
seconds.
It would have been
Yes.
Kyle Scott for sure. Partita. I think if not Partita, right? If Partita's injured, I'll do another one since I was in San Antonio with fans and they were booing this man and were yelling at him the entire game. Was Chris Hagart.
Okay.
They did not like Chris Hagart, and they did not like how aggressive he was, or when he went to the ground. So I'll say Chris Hagart in that sense. He was making trouble for everybody, fans and other players alike.
So I guess with this type of collaboration, maybe a recommendation for Orange County is do some sort of wrestling themed Halloween dress up for your players and put your heels in heel costumes and put your heroes in hero costumes. I'd love to see who they dress as, like Hulk Hogan or something like that. That would be. And is it Hollywood Hogan or is it the traditional yellow and red Hogan? Brad, thoughts on the collaboration really quick before we wrap things up on this episode and do some predictions.
Yeah, if I were to name one heel for the entire league who would be fitting of that position, it's Mitch Tainter. Like, let's be honest.
Definitely.
Or if we're being
He
more
has the name for it
specific,
too.
or if we're specific towards Orange County, it's probably Jack Kerr, just based on our reactions from last week and whatnot. But Ray, who's the baby face on Orange County? There's a lot of them, but who is the baby face?
The baby. You know what? Here's the baby face. I probably would give it to Bryce Jamison. He just looks the part. He looks like a WWE babyface when you watch him out there with his like celebrations. He's got the hair like you see some of the WWE players out there. I think it would be Bryce Jamison. And you could disagree with me all you want.
I don't disagree with you. I was cooking it doesn't matter what you think, the Rock stuff, but I just couldn't pull that off. But the correct answer is Miko Kaningas. There is no other answer. He might not be with the team, but the correct answer is still Miko Kaningas.
He's not okay. You did not say
The correct answer is
lifetime
of all time. Yeah,
I didn't, but I also didn't say this season. Unless I
because you
did.
say all time. You say all time, then it would have been like, Richard Chaplow, who was a player and then became a manager. He was a heel player and became a manager, or not heel. I'm sorry, babyface became a manager.
Miko
I love the
Kaningas is
topic.
right answer.
Yeah, no, I like that answer, but you're looking at this year's roster, it's Bryce Jamison. Let's do this. Score predictions. Let's go San Antonio first. And folks, if you're listening live, feel free to throw your predictions on here and we will try and share them on the show. DK against San Antonio at home tomorrow, less than 24 hours from now, or about 24 hours from now, we'll know this result. What's your prediction?
2-1.
2-1.
Orange County. Sorry.
OC. Brad.
1-1.
1-1. My prediction on this is going to be 1-0 Orange County against Louisville City this weekend. DK.
1-1. Actually, 2-2.
2-2. So I think Josh, his prediction here 3-1 was for the San Antonio match, because there's always a delay on the live stream. Brad, Lou City.
0-1.
0-1.
So that's a rough game. That's a rough game.
This is where I wish producer Annie had like some sort of booing sound effect that we could put on there, because that is just a booable offense from Brad. My score prediction for this match. My prediction, 3-1 Orange County against Lou City at home. And I think Josh is doing 2-1, so I was a little bit more positive on that one than him. Perfect. We've got our predictions in. Are we happy? Are you mad? Let us know, folks. And if you want, you can actually go onto social media, find our accounts on Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Find one of our posts and share if you agree, disagree. I'm sure there will be a point where producer Andy's going to throw some of this on social media of our score predictions and other stuff. So jump on there, follow us, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Also find us on YouTube for video replays of our show, or on Spotify when Spotify is working and accepting our videos that we're putting up there. If you do listen on Spotify and you've seen some episodes missing, there has been some technical issues uploading some of our episodes there, so we're working on that. We apologize, but I believe the audio versions are still available wherever else podcasts are heard. With that said, any random thoughts from either of you? I'll go to you first, DK. Do you have a random thought you wanted to discuss before we wrap things up?
Random thought, mainly because I know that Brad's going to talk about music since he's been so excited that I've been here. Oh, he's not. Oh, that's okay. I wasn't going to talk about music. I was going to talk about movies. I've
DK,
been on.
I thought you were going to bring up that you bought the vinyl of Taylor Swift's new album and you're in love.
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
I've been watching a bunch of horror movies this October. I've actually been on a whole challenge this entire year to watch 365 movies this year, and I've been keeping up with that pace. So obviously this month is all about horror films, and I love horror films, and I've never seen the Evil Dead series, which is just a travesty, I know. So I finally watched the first 3 Evil Dead movies within the last couple of weeks, and they are an absolute blast. The Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. Just watched Army of Darkness today, and that was hilarious and such a fun time. So love those movies. If you're a horror fan and you haven't seen those movies, then you should watch them. Most likely you've already seen them, and I'm crazy, but they were a blast. So that's my random thought.
And just, this is not a horror movie, but have you watched The Big Empty?
The Big Empty? No.
Okay.
But I'll add it to my list. Yeah, definitely.
Brad, random thought.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have a record for this episode. I do plan on bringing that back next year because my collection has ballooned way too much over the last couple months. No, my random thought is it's hockey season, and my Carolina Hurricanes are going to be at multiple stadiums near you guys in SoCal to terrorize whichever local team that you guys support. So please don't be afraid when the weather remains as it has been, because a storm surge is coming to town.
We already had the storm hit Southern California today, so you're too late, Brad.
Nah, I'm not. It's early. It'll stay that way. Don't worry.
Random thought for me. Youth soccer. I'm not a coach anymore, but my son is still playing soccer, and he has transitioned from attacking mode to defense. He's now a full-fledged right back. As someone that loves defense more than attacking, because just I didn't have the skill to score goals, I am actually loving it, and I just want to give props to my son. This past weekend, he literally was throwing his body on the line to try and fight and win, and when he was on the pitch, we didn't give up as many goals as when he jumped off the pitch. Like the final 15 minutes of the match, he came off and we gave up 3 goals all along his right side. He plays right back. So just had to give a props to him because he's transitioning smoothly to a whole new position. And I'm just a proud dad when it comes to that. All right, DK, what'd you learn this episode?
Oh man, I learned that Ray underestimates.
What do I underestimate? I feel like we got muted or something. Or am I off? I feel like I lost audio of DK
Nope,
there.
I was muted. You're right.
Oh, there we
You're
go.
right. I was muted. Sorry about that. I learned that you underestimate Louisville's reserve players.
Okay. I was sort of scared there that you were saying Ray underestimates and then you muted yourself so you could say whatever bad words or whatever you were saying in there to bash me.
a bunch. No, I guess I accidentally clicked it when I was talking like that. So
It's all good. You were just maybe just subconsciously you were scared to let me know that
yeah, what I
response.
think exactly.
Brad, what
Yeah.
did you learn this episode?
Oh boy. I learned that I still suck at counting.
All right. What did I learn in this episode? I learned that I am still the most positive person on this show. Unless maybe and I guess the other thing I learned is I miss Larry. Larry, where are you? I need you. I need your help on these arguments and this fight for positivity, because apparently
If we were all so positive, this would be a much different show, and you would be so bored. The show would only be like 15 minutes because we'd all agree, have a kumbaya, and go home for the evening.
hey, that people would still love it. They still would tune in.
This is Orange County.
I want to thank everyone for participating in this episode. My co-host DK, Brad, producer Andy, everyone that was in the chats. I saw Josh quite a bit in here. Maybe you were like one of the few that was there, but thank you for participating and sharing your thoughts on everything on the chats. And remember, if you want to watch our show live and you didn't know where to find us, just go ahead and follow us on social media, and also follow us on YouTube, because that's probably the main channel that you can follow us and watch us live on these. But we stream it elsewhere. But I think YouTube's the easiest one to, I guess, subscribe, follow, and get alerted. With that said, thank you everyone for participating in this episode. Next week, we will be celebrating. I'm telling you, we will. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, and we are out.